With Messi's contract with FC Barcelona coming to an end this summer, he was able to engage in pre-contract talks with any club across Europe without any kind of release clause demand from Barcelona. In this video, I'm going to look at the clubs that are most likely to sign him to clubs that are least likely to sign him, in my beliefs, in my opinion, based on some kind of, like based on facts or based on maybe just looking at some kind of evidence surrounding the situation. And then I'll include some honorable mentions of clubs that were linked, but there wasn't really any substantial thing to it other than just simply for press or hype generating. So the first club I wanted to take a look at was Paris Saint-Germain in Ligue 1 France. Now, I'm going to pick 3 points from each of the clubs that I mentioned just to give a quick summary. So with PSG, I'm saying that they're the most likely to sign Messi. The reason I'm saying this is, one, Messi has, as I said in my last video, he's publicly admitted to wanting to play with Neymar again, and so because Barcelona can't afford Neymar's release clause or buyout clause, and because Messi is already leaving Barcelona, it's more likely that he's just going to go there on his own for free. The club doesn't have to pay him, doesn't have to pay Barcelona anything, meaning he can use that money, that money that they don't spend on him, he can ask for it in his wage contract, or maybe he asks for more money weekly. Second thing is, now that he's getting older, his desire to maybe win the league every season isn't necessarily as demanding, or it's maybe not something that's on the top of his priority list. But now that he's in France, it's an easier league. He'll have more time to rest. He'll have more time to rest and focus on winning just the Champions League, a more lucrative title. It'll add to his legacy as well. He can win with another team. And he said that the 2022 World Cup will be his last, so with this, he can still maintain his form. He can still maintain that level of competition in Europe, and prepare himself well for the 2022 World Cup. One of the main reasons why Manchester City are heavily linked with Messi is that he knows Pep Guardiola. So he knows him on a personal level. He had one of his most effective and best seasons at Barcelona with Pep Guardiola. Second is that Manchester City is already an extremely stacked team, so he doesn't necessarily have to worry about any of the issues that he had at Barcelona previously, like the defense or the midfield, or just generally having to carry the team all the time. So he himself doesn't need to strain himself, so maybe injuries go down or he doesn't need to play every game. He can win the Champions League with this team. Again, he can still win the Champions League. But the third thing is that something that a lot of people criticize him for is that he hasn't really played in this league, because the Premier League is the toughest league in the world, and winning the league is an extremely huge added accolade in your career. And it's one of the main reasons why people want to see him there, because if you win the Premier League, it's just as good, or it's very close to the same level as winning the Champions League, because it's such a difficult league. It has so many top teams, top players, and so winning the Premier League can be just as good for his trophy cabinet and legacy as the Champions League. So going to Manchester City also seems likely, but maybe it's too far out of his comfort zone, and maybe he doesn't feel the need to go there, or he doesn't feel the need to prove himself, since he's already proven himself as one of the best players of all time. One of the more recent clubs that came into the fray was Inter Miami FC. Now, it's the club that is owned by David Beckham in the MLS, and the reason I say this is because recently, 2 things happened. One, Messi said that he wants to play in the U.S. before retirement. Now, if the 2022 World Cup is going to be his last, that means maybe he has 2 years after that to play professionally, because he looks like he's getting more injuries, and maybe he doesn't have necessarily the physique to keep going for more than a couple more years. 2, it's rumored that he wants to join up with another former teammate, Luis Suarez, someone who he enjoyed playing with, someone who he was publicly mad about, losing at Barcelona when he got told by the current Barcelona manager, Ronald Koeman, about having to find a new club, and he wasn't part of his plans. So you can tell that Messi, he really just wants to play with, Suarez again, if he's willing to go to the MLS. And third, he could have an extremely large impact on the MLS. The MLS is a league that isn't living up to the hype, mainly because of the fact that there isn't enough talent, there's not enough top teams, it's not as prestigious. So for people to start their career in the MLS, especially if they're top talents, starting your career in the MLS isn't very it's not a good idea. You'd rather go start in Europe, as we see with a lot of American talent. So like even American talent that are good themselves, they don't stay in the MLS, they go to Europe. So his impact could be that maybe players from South America go and play in the MLS and they increase the skill level and they add more to it and it becomes more lucrative to go play there. Some honorable mentions. One, Inter Milan. Inter Milan were linked with him at first in the summertime when he pointed out the fact that his contract was up at Barcelona, or he could sign for free at the end of that year. Juventus were linked mainly because people were excited to see the possibility of Messi playing with Ronaldo. And I think maybe people didn't really think too much whether that could actually be a good thing or a bad thing. A club in his hometown called Newell's Old Boys in Argentina, he's come out and said before that he wants to play there as well before he retires. So maybe this just shows us that what Messi says isn't necessarily what he's going to do, because he's just said a lot of things and it seems like his career is coming to an end. So if you have an opinion on where you think Messi's going to go, leave it in the comments below and tell me why you think that. If you like the video, like. If you're not subscribed already, subscribe. And if other people like this kind of stuff, like football discussion, share it. And thanks for watching.